Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I am joined by Mayor Malik Evans and members of my command staff. We're here because the fourth RPD officer to be shot in the line of duty in 4 months happened last night. As you remember, we had 3 in December. We had another officer injured from a gunshot wound last night. Thankfully, he's recovering, stable, and with the grace of God, he will be making a full recovery. He's with his family now. And I say this all the time, and again, I just don't know if the words sink in, but you know, every day our officers are out there literally risking their lives to make our community a safer place. It's reality. As I just said, 3 shot in December. We had a captain grazed by a bullet last June in the head. We had another group of officers that were shot last April. A total of more than 180 officers were injured or faced a workplace exposure in the RPD in 2025 alone. This morning around 1 a.m., one of our officers stepped out to speak with a male on Lake Avenue, just south of Driving Park, and this was in relation to a recent shooting in the city of Rochester. Upon approaching the male pulled out a handgun and fired 3 shots toward the officer before running away southbound. Our officer was struck at least once in the lower body. He quickly, thanks to his training and calm, level-headed professionalist, applied his own tourniquet before additional responding officers continued emergency medical care, transported him by police vehicle to Rochester General Hospital. And again, this morning we are grateful to the medical staff at Rochester General Hospital for the care they provided our member. As I said, thankfully his injuries have been determined to be non-life-threatening. He is expected to be released from the hospital later today. Officers from multiple nearby agencies, again, immediately swarmed the scene, establishing perimeters, searching for the suspect. Around 5 a.m., as we were still conducting a grid search yard to yard, our drone unit observed the heat signature of a male hiding in a pile of brush and debris behind a building in the 700 block of Lake Avenue. Once the drone shined the light on him, this male pulled out a handgun and took his own life. The SWAT team, who was in the yards, swiftly moved in, found him to be deceased from his self-inflicted gunshot wound. Now let's take a minute here to talk about the SWAT team. You know, my SWAT team is a partial full-time unit, a lot of part-time folks on the unit, conducts hundreds of operations, search warrants, every year. That SWAT team was founded in 1968. I've come to learn in my years as chief. Since that team was founded in 1968, that team has only had 2 fatal encounters with suspects. Everyone is safer when the SWAT team is involved. Preliminarily, this male appears to match the description of the male that shot the officer. Although we're waiting on scientific confirmation of his identity from the Monroe County Medical Examiner, our tentative identification is that of the male suspected in the recent shooting. So again, we believe this male is not only the subject who shot our officer, but we believe he was the subject we were seeking related to the recent shooting. This officer who was shot has been with the Rochester Police Department for just over 1 year. He is obviously going to be on medical leave for the foreseeable future. No law enforcement members fired a weapon during this incident. Our major crimes unit is continuing the investigation. Anyone with further information is encouraged to call 911. And again, you'll see us through the remainder of the day continuing to canvass the neighborhoods for video footage and further evidence. Tonight was definitely a team effort. It included the incredible work by the drone operator that located what was a very well-hidden suspect. And I've watched all of that video from the drone. It's truly amazing work and amazing technology. Every officer that responded to tonight's incident, however, did play a vital role. Whether that's the perimeter points, the traffic points, the the K-9 units, the drone units, and every other law enforcement resource that you can think was in the city tonight. And I'd also like to thank our partner agencies that responded, including the Rochester Fire Department to render medical aid, AMR, ambulance, the New York State Police, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, the Town of Brighton Police Department, the Town of East Rochester Police Department, the Town of Fairport Police Department, the Town of Gates Police Department, the Town of Greece Police Department, the Town of Arundecoit Police Department, and the Webster Police Department. Thank you to all of our brothers in blue that came to our assistance once again. But most of all, I think we all need to take a minute and thank the men and women of the Rochester Police Department who, again, just spent a very, very long night when one of their own was taken out by gunfire, keeping this city safe. And while all that was going on, folks were still answering 911 calls. And you know what? As we're breaking down the scene, the rest of this department is back to business as usual, just like we do day in and day out, answering the calls and keeping everybody safe. I'm going to hand this to the mayor for a few comments, and then we will take a few questions. Mayor?
Thank you, Chief. And first off, I ask that Rochester prays for our injured officer. And I'll just say that, you know, too often it's rare for the mayor to stand at a podium in the public safety building, but too often in the last 4 to 5 months, I've been standing here too many times. I think that it's important to underscore something that the chief said, the dangerousness of the job that our Rochester Police Departments engage in every day. And I want to underscore a point that is important. We have some individuals that seek to wreak havoc in our community by using guns in our neighborhoods. And most of these guns are illegal. They are not supposed to possess guns. So we have to have our officers to go and get illegal guns off the street or investigate crimes of our citizens that have been victims of gun crimes. And that is what was happening here in this situation. The other point I want to make is that this seems to be totally unprovoked. You know, we say life, we say non-life threatening, but these are life-altering injuries and experiences for our officers that they experience on a regular basis when you're shot. This is not a normal situation. So I think that all of us in the community need to understand that this should not be normalized when anyone is shot, but let alone a police officer doing their job. This should not be a normal situation, and everyone in our community needs to condemn these type of acts and send the message that it's not acceptable and it will not be tolerated. I want to also thank all of the partners. I mean, you heard the long list of folks that were involved, other agencies that came to aid the Rochester Police Department during this tragic scene last night. And Rochester would do the same thing for other departments had it been one of their officers that were shot. And I think that that's important because it shows the collaborative effort and teamwork that we have here in Monroe County. So I ask that people in our community pray and support these officers. And then the last point I'll make is this, and this is a broader call for the community because we need to learn from these lessons. If you know someone that's carrying a gun, carrying an illegal firearm, there are so many tools that you can have. You can call major crimes, you can call the mayor's office, you can do the reported app, you can call 311, you can call 911. We have to draw a line in the sand to say that individuals that should not be carrying illegal firearms, we need to make sure that we root them out of our community. Because look what happens here. Not only are people in our community getting shot, but then they shoot people who are protecting our community. That's not normal. I pray for this officer. I'm glad that he is going to be okay, but his life will be forever changed because he was the victim. Now, he was the victim of a gun crime, which so many other folks in our community are. So I ask for your prayers for the men and women of the Rochester Police Department and this injured officer, and I thank RPD for their great service over the last 24 hours and the service that we get on a regular basis. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll take a few questions. We'll go from here to the right to make it easier.
The report chief that said that you guys had some individuals detained.
Yes.
Did those individuals have anything to do with this at all?
No, they did not.
Still detained?
I believe they have all been released at this point. If they have not, they will be shortly. No? Okay.
Do we know if the,
Go ahead.
Can you give any details about the shooting? The officer walked up to him to speak about any details about when or where that happened?
Not at this time. We will in future releases.
you mentioned that the suspect, you also looking for him in another shooting? Do you know if he has criminal past or anything like that?
We do. It's information. We do know. It's not information we're going to release at this time, but again, we'll get it out as soon as we can. So.
Was that firearm illegal that he used to shoot the officer with?
That I personally don't have knowledge of, but when we get it all processed and we know one way or another, that's something else we'll put out. All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.